Hello folks, welcome to the channel or welcome back to the channel. Before we analyze both fighters, let's look at a few crucial points and then see what the outcome will be in the video. Let's look at how Daniel Dubois boxes. His stance isn't like classical boxers' stance. His legs too close and not wide. This makes his body exposed and gives more target to opponent rather than angling his body for a lesser target. Also, the way his feet are positioned can make him slow in movement and unbalanced. And his defense and the way he holds his guard will be perfect for Joshua. You can't face Joshua with a defense like Dubois got. He will not last long. His face is exposed and he leaves his one side open when attacks. Soon as Dubois jabs, he will feel Joshua's jab or backhand on his chin or side of the head. Not criticizing him. He may be comfortable in his style and that's the way he is told or feel he should fight. But we shall see on the night when he faces Joshua. I may be wrong. And now look at the way Joshua transformed and how he boxes, his stance, guard, and other factors that would help him beat Dubois. Ah, lovely. Best invention ever. Stops you smoking, or does it? I'll soon find out soon. Hi, folks. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. Time is almost near, and once again, let's explain why this fight will be 70-30 in favor of Joshua. We only want to talk about prime boxing fights, none of those Jake Paul fixed fights, and Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson gimmick fights to promote the Netflix's new venture to show sports on their platforms and go against Amazon Prime or flyweight, featherweight Mexican fights that hasn't got that stellar punching powers, and two small guys slugging it out all night. Nothing wrong with that, but there isn't as excitement as a good old heavyweight match that anything can happen, especially if it's a close fight with two heavy punches. Any one of the fighters can win, and anything can happen. This is it, the fight that sold Wembley and could even break the attendance record. So let's start. And if you don't agree, leave your comments below and let's debate why Joshua will win or lose or why Du Bois will win or lose. So let's start with me saying why Du Bois will lose. Like always, there will be controversy and differences in opinions. So please remember, it's just an opinion. So let's keep it civilized. Thank you. So without further ado, let's break down how Anthony Joshua transformed after that shocking night when he lost to Andy Ruiz. We'll explore the critical lessons he learned, the mistakes that cost him, and how he turned it all round to become a more formidable fighter. The first fight, a lesson in overconfidence. Picture this: Joshua knocks Ruiz down, and the crowd erupts. It seems like victory is inevitable. But here's where things go wrong. Joshua, adrenaline pumping, sees the finishing line too early. He's eager to end it, to put on a show. So Andy beats the count, dusts himself up, and looks across to Joshua as much as to say, "Is that all you got?" and looks at the ref. And the referee says, "Fight on." Joshua can't believe Andy got up and charges in like a bull, swinging wildly. But instead of delivering a calculated deadly blow, he wastes energy with a reckless punches. In that moment, Joshua forgot everything he knew. He forgot that Ruiz has a granite chin, and in his excitement, he lost sight of the strategy. That's the moment that turned the tide. The world saw a champion get humbled, not by a better fighter, but by his own mistakes, and got knocked down twice and lost. In the rematch or the second fight, new Joshua emerges. When Joshua stepped into the ring for the rematch, it was clear this wasn't the same fighter who lost to Ruiz. Gone was the reckless aggression. Instead, we saw a fighter with a plan, with precision. Joshua kept Ruiz at bay with his lead hand, constantly probing, constantly measuring. His movement was fluid, almost like a dance, giving him the freedom to control the ring. Joshua's new stance made him quicker, more agile, and his defense was tighter. It was like watching a fencer, each move calculated, each punch measured. And when he unleashed his back end, it was with a full force of a well oiled machine. This wasn't just a comeback, it was a statement. Then Joshua went on to face Alexander Usyk. But here is where things took another turn. After reclaiming his titles, Joshua might have thought he had it all figured out. Then came Alexander Usyk. Joshua, confident in his size and power, underestimated Usyk, thinking he could easily outmuscle the cruiserweight. But Usyk had other plans. He didn't just beat Joshua, he schooled him. The fight was a masterclass in movement, timing, and ring IQ. And when it was over, Joshua, in a moment of frustration, threw his belts out of the ring like a kid throwing his toys out of the pram. It was a clear sign he couldn't accept the loss. That pride, that unwillingness to change was still there. But here is where the story gets interesting. After the Usyk rematch, another painful loss, Joshua made a critical decision to change trainers, bringing in Ben. This was the turning point. With Ben in his corner, Joshua didn't just go back to basics. He evolved. We saw it when he faced Otto Wallin. This wasn't just a physical transformation, it was mental. Joshua became a thinker in the ring, a strategist. He wasn't just fighting, he was planning, setting traps, using feints to draw out mistakes. And when he moved in for the kill, it was with precision and power. So let's compare Dubois versus Joshua and talk about Daniel Dubois. Dubois is a strong fighter, but he hasn't evolved. His stance is too stiff, his movements too predictable. His jabs aren't fast as Joshua's. As Dubois' jabs leaves one side of his jaw and head open, and his body position leaves him exposed. His guard is high, but his head is still open, a tempting target for a fighter like Joshua. His stance makes him unbalanced and one-dimensional fighter who moves forward as if he's in the gym practicing on the heavy bag and not be aware of his defense as well. Unless the boys make significant changes, he's walking into a lion's den with no plan. Meanwhile, Joshua, with his new style, is not just fighting, he's hunting. The conclusion, Joshua's inevitable victory, so who will win? All signs point to Joshua. He's not just a brawler anymore, he's a chess player in the ring, patient, strategic, and dangerous. The boys, with that serious adjustment, doesn't stand a chance. Joshua will likely dominate, possibly securing a knockout, but certainly comfortable win. What's next for Joshua? So the story doesn't end here. The question now is, how far can Joshua take this new approach? Can he continue to adapt, to evolve, to become not just a champion but a legend? As fans, we can only wait, watch, and see how this next chapter unfolds. Every fight from here on is a step forward to greatness or a potential pitfall. And that's what makes it all so thrilling. The journey of a fighter is never just about the punches, it's about the evolution, the resilience, and the unrelenting pursuit of perfection. So stay tuned because Joshua's story is far from over. So, what do you think, folks? If you like what we talked about, subscribe and don't forget, give that like button a solid jab and a knockout punch, an uppercut. Thanks for watching. Ciao. See you next time, folks.